Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Small Business Marketing Success Interviews. I'm your host, Small Business Stacey, and today we're talking about words tell, pictures sell, but video makes it all come alive. Hi, I'm Small Business Stacey.
I'm Digital Dave.
Where marketing
meets technology.
And that's why I'm so excited to introduce my guest today, because he is going to share with you how to leverage the power of video to tell your brand story. My guest today is David Feinman, co-founder of Viral Ideas Marketing. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. Small business owners know that they should be doing video, but they get so squeamish about it. Like, I don't know what to do or how to do it, so I'm just not going to do it. So I know that you're going to have a lot of brilliance and expertise to share with the audience today. But before we get into all the details about video, I want to know a little bit more about you. I mean, were you born with a camera in hand and said, I'm going to grow up and be and own a video company?
No, so my path was kind of an interesting one. It kind of took a couple of twists and turns along the way. So I've actually been an entrepreneur virtually for as long as I can remember. So I started, my first business was when I was 16 years old, and had a number of different businesses all along. And I actually started Viral Ideas when I was in college. So, way back when I was in college, basically I had another company that I, built and sold, and we grew it on the back of creating these awesome videos for Facebook and social media. And me and my business partner got together, and, we started working with a couple customers and really using the power of video and social media combined together to grow their businesses. And with those first couple customers, we were still in college at the time, with those first couple of customers had such tremendous feedback, and we're able to make them, such a nice amount of money that, it kept just snowballing and snowballing and snowballing. So, here we are 5 years later, we have Viral Ideas on one side, which has created close to 3,000 videos at this point for companies all around the world. And we have Flixation, which is an on-demand video editing platform. Think of it like Uber for video editing. So companies are just sending us their video footage, and we're using all that best practice that we've learned from creating all these videos to deliver back something that's edited in a nice, clean format for all that modern media. So that's a little bit of my backstory, and how we got here. And personally, I'm like, my thing is, I'm a triathlete, so that's kind of my other thing besides running Viral Ideas and Flixation.
Wow. Okay. Well, a young serial entrepreneur for sure. So David, we know a little bit about the person, the professional you, but what my audience really wants to know is tell us a little bit about the real you. So I have some questions for you.
Sure.
Ready?
Ready.
Breakfast or no breakfast?
Breakfast every day. Every day.
Good. You got to start the day right.
I usually have the same breakfast: 4 eggs, loaded with veggies, avocado, good to go.
Protein man. They say eggs are good for you, so good. All right, I agree. Always eat a good breakfast. Start your day and your brain right. All right, so flip-flops or sneakers?
Oh, sneakers, 100%. I'm too clumsy for flip-flops.
Okay, good to know. And since you're a little bit on the younger side of the age scale, Xbox or PlayStation?
I've actually never been a video game guy. I'm more of a go outside and play guy. So
good. I'm so glad to hear that.
I'm training. I'm doing an Ironman in a few months, so I'm always on my bike. Actually, if you can see the videos, I got my bike right behind me.
Oh wow!
So I'm always biking, swimming, or running. So
good. Well, no wonder you're so fit, and that's why you need the eggs for your protein.
You got it.
All right, well, let's dive into video. My audience is small business owners. So let's talk from a broad perspective. Like, why should they be looking at video as part of their marketing strategy?
That's a great question. So a lot of times when people are getting started with it, they're kind of wondering exactly what you said. Like, I'm doing all this marketing here, but why do I need to make a video? And, really the whole world exists on the internet. And as behavior on the internet has been moving, by 2020, they're predicting that 80% of the world's internet traffic is going to be consumed by video.
Wow.
So as a business, you really want to be in the mix of that, right? So you want to be on YouTube, you want to be on Facebook, you want to be on Instagram. You really want to kind of have that, full spectrum of, being able to be where your customers are in the medium that they're consuming online. So even if you have a website, it's not quite enough anymore. To have them stay on that website, you're going to want to include a nice video that your customers can engage with to really understand what your business is and what it does.
No, that's a good point because, when they put up a website, and they always hear me preach about this a lot, the About Us page, right? And they get so excited about that one, right? Because it's like the chest beating. I, we, us. We've been in business since 1492. And so when you put that in words, it can be almost like a little cocky sounding, right? Like we're the best. But when you have a video professionally produced to tell your story, it can be created in a way that maybe is not so chest pounding. Is that right?
Yes. So it, like, all of what you said was just awesome because it's exactly what we tell our customers all the time. So, that text-based, novel that you can put on your About Us page can really just be an awesome little 3-minute documentary about your business. And I'll give you a perfect example. We just worked with a company that is 100% employee owned to create and tell their story. And, when you hear that, you kind of turn your head, like, you're like, hey, what does it really mean to be 100% employee owned? And that means that the employees themselves get to share in the profits of the business, which is unbelievable for both the customers and the employees. So, we were able to tell that specific story on video by interviewing some of the owners of the company, because really the employees are actually owners of the firm. So seeing that on video versus just reading 100% employee owned has way more meaning, and you actually get to meet the people that are the owners of this company. And that same principle can apply to businesses of all different types, all different sizes. So just having that About Us really gets your customers and the people that are interested in your brand understanding what you guys are all about.
So it's about telling your story. But it's not so much like, let's get into the different kinds of video, right? Because here we're recording a video. That's one kind of video. There's video where, somebody pulls out their cell phone and goes live on Facebook or YouTube or something like that. Is that the kind of video that you're talking about that a small business owner should be doing?
So that's a simple question, which I'm going to give a little bit of a elongated answer to. But there's a couple different types of videos that you might want to consider. Like the one that we're doing right now is this nice interview format. You can cut it up into multiple chunks, break out this content over a long period of time. There's a lot you can do with it. But it's not necessarily that, scripted, polished message that you're going for, right? So, right before this call, we were talking about, like, we had a brief conversation of a number of different types of videos. It's kind of interesting. We're about to record a video, like what other types of videos are out there. So, this is one of them, but there's also the About Us culture video. There's FAQ videos. Mm-hmm. There's different more scripted and storyboarded videos that really hit your brand message home at your target set of audience. And, a lot of our practice area and what we do at Viral Ideas specifically is really that kind of white glove, start to finish messaging of a video. Mm-hmm. So, that's one type, but there's also that selfie video on Facebook Live, that Instagram video. So all those different types have a different message that you can get out to a different audience across your whole funnel.
Well, if you've done over 3,000 videos, you absolutely have a lot of experience. I'm sure you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. So there's probably, 3 ways that a small business owner can go about thinking about doing video. Just like I promote my marketing services. You can do it yourself, you can do it with some help, or you can hire the expert to just get it done for you. And I understand you offer 3 different approaches. Is that right?
Well, so with what we do, we offer 2 different approaches, but I think, whenever, I jump on podcasts, I always like to start out by saying, if there's someone just starting out in business or you don't have a lot of budget for marketing, mm-hmm. there is the do-it-yourself option. Yes, it's way trickier. Yes, it takes up a lot more of your time. And, as someone who's made 3,000 of them, it's a lot of work.
You're right.
But but if you are in that do-it-yourself category, what I would recommend doing is setting yourself up right to do it yourself. That doesn't mean buying the most expensive camera, because a lot of times you're going to get that most expensive camera. You're going to be excited about your new thing. You're going to have this box that comes in the mail from Amazon, and you're going to have no idea how to work it.
Right.
And your videos are going to turn out, looking all grainy and unfocused, and you're actually going to have an opposite of effect. So what I always recommend to people is if you have no experience doing videos, most of us have one of these. They have a phone, right? And a lot of those phones shoot pretty decent video for the most part. So if you have a phone, you can basically, what I like to call, supercharge your phone. You could purchase a lighting kit to, add light to the environment. But I always like to tell people, really basic stuff. Cameras see light. So if the lights are off or dim, the camera won't see much. Where if there's more light, the camera sees more stuff. So basic level, make sure you have a nice bright environment. And cameras also like to hear, which means you have to have good sound for your actual video. So that's essentially like the basics of, working, basically supercharging your phone to create videos. Obviously there's steps above it and different levels of equipment that you could research that, might be something that you want to start, like with a starter level camera. But if you're doing it yourself, do those couple things, spend a few $100s on that project just to get yourself equipped. And then you're equipped to actually start filming and editing your videos from there.
You're absolutely right. And I agree with you. The lighting and the audio can make or break the quality of it. Because I see so many videos online where they have backlighting and then you can't see the person, like they have a blacked out face, and you don't want that kind of image online. Or they have really bad audio and people will then just immediately bounce, because it's actually, in my opinion, more important to have good audio than it is so much professional video. Because if you have good audio, you'll capture their attention and they'll continue watching.
Yeah, and I mean, so to kind of progress what you said there, whenever someone lands on a video, you have to think of it as almost like a virtual salesperson, a virtual customer service for your company. So let's say, we have a lot of customers. They'll be like, oh, I did a video before, but I only got 100 views. And there's a million ways that you can work on that. I'm like, you only got 100 views. You know what that means? Your video is 2 minutes long. So that means people spent 200 minutes watching your video, right? So that means that, you effectively gain back 2.5 hours of time that this video was taken care of for you to actually be out there in the world. And, multiply that by 10, 20, because, a video doesn't really require much labor costs. So incrementally, as more people watch your video, you're going to have more of a message spread for a lower of a cost. So that's one of the beauties of it. And to piggyback off that quality point, when that person hits your video for the first time, that's your first impression of them.
Right.
And you want to make sure that your right messaging comes across, which is why that second option of do it together, a lot of times, for people in that tighter budget, might work well. They can have someone that's maybe has, amateur type of experience with the camera. They could pay a little lower, or they can, do it themselves and send it to an editing service, which that's our other business, Flixation. And, that back end part of editing, which takes forever. And, there's a lot of technicalities. It's almost like coding.
Yeah.
Running good at it. That part is taken care of for you. And now instead of, spending as much money as you need to do in the third category, you're somewhere in the middle of, putting together a video for an editing fee of a few $100s versus nothing with the first one where you're kind of fumbling around with the camera, or, a lot of money on the high end. So.
David, do you have words of advice for how a small business owner can and should be telling their story with video? Like, what kind of images would they want to portray in doing that?
So I'll kind of give you like the meat and bones of how to think about it. So there's really 3 categories of video if you break it all down: awareness, consideration, and decision. It's like any marketing funnel. So within each part of your strategy, you're going to want to have videos tucked into awareness, consideration, decision. So awareness videos might be just tackling the broad problem of what your company solves, or it might be an about us video. Something that people can land on and understand about what you do to just get people interested. Consideration might be, some facts about your business, some reasons why, some testimonials. I mean, consideration might be something explaining the price or something that explains how the whole deal structure works with what you do. So really just kind of moving through those 3 phases of video, that encompasses most videos that are out there that are at least customer facing. There's obviously a lot of other videos as you get bigger in companies, you might want to do training videos or, something along those lines that, save you time versus make you money, which in turn makes you money. So.
Well, let's then transition that into working with someone like you, a full service agency. So if somebody, a small business owner is looking to really leverage the power of video and wants all 3 types of videos, attraction, consideration, decision, what is your process in helping them do that? Do you storyboard, you film, you edit? Is it truly beginning to end full service?
Yes. So one of the things that, as in going through these 3 different things, a lot of times when you hit that level of, wanting to bring someone in to really make you a full strategy for video where people are going to watch it through the whole, and that's where you hire a production company that understands the strategy of working on videos, whether it's Viral Ideas or another company in your area, you're going to want to make sure they move through, a process by which to tell your story. And a lot of that involves, some input from you as the company, right? So understand, having the production company understand what your company does and what makes you better. Also understanding your sales process and providing recommendations of different videos that you could create through the whole process, whether they be more creative and narrative in nature, or whether they be more interview style and, naturalistic tone. You're going to want to make sure you're set on all that.
Okay, well, if you've done over 3,000 videos, which is really impressive, you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I'm sure you've made some mistakes. So what are your biggest lessons learned from doing so many videos?
So the biggest thing before you ever turn on a camera that solves most of the problems that have ever come up in creating all these videos is just plan. If you're gonna create any type of video, big or small, just put together a little plan. Whether it's, a couple key talking points, you don't have to fully script it out necessarily, or maybe you want to, but, plan out your setting, where you're going to be, plan out your equipment, plan out who's doing what on set, so all in, if you have a production company doing for you, that's great. That's off your chest. But, if you're doing it together or doing it yourself, that's where you're really going to want to come in and really just kind of work on that production plan to make sure you're hitting those messages correctly.
So, okay, so a small business owner saying, gosh, David knows his stuff. I should really probably work with a professional. What kinds of questions or what should a small business owner be looking for if they want to use an outside solution? Should it be a local company? Is there a size company? What kind of questions or factors go into choosing a video production company?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we work mostly on like the East Coast, kind of like tucked into the Northeast area. Mm-hmm. We do some national stuff too, but it depends on the project. But I would say like if you're thinking about like local company versus non-local company, whoever you're hiring should have a decent understanding about, number one, strategy. If you're going out to hire someone, at a higher level, they're going to want to understand some strategy around your video and be able to add value there. So that I think is one of the most important things that a video production company can do, is just add that strategic creative value. And then number two, you want to make sure that their work lines up with your expectations. So it doesn't necessarily have to be someone specifically that's worked in your industry before, done the specific type of video that you need, but they should be able to present you with a few options that are saying, hey, these are some videos that we've done that I think might be similar to what you're going for. Mm-hmm. You should be able to take a look at them and just feel comfortable with what they've created. Because if you can just take a watch of what they've done and just ask them a bit about their process and what they did as far as in that video, mm-hmm. and they can explain it to you, explain how that project went, that's where you'll kind of gain an understanding of how that company works. They should also have a process by which to put you through. So if you're working with a company, you should make sure that everything, you should ask them, what's your process? How does that all work? Mm-hmm. How do we get our best outcome? Because really, when you're hiring, at the higher level of a production company, you're buying into a system and a process that works really, really well for them to create videos. The reason we franked out 3,000 of them, because we have a system and a process that works really, really well for creating videos. So, you want to make sure whoever you're hiring has that in place, whether they're a local person, a national person. So those would be my tips for hiring someone. Make sure also, that they're responsive as well. That's a big thing. A lot of production companies are small businesses, so make sure they're just getting back to you in a timely manner.
Yeah.
Chatting with them. That's a big thing.
Well, David, you've been so giving of your time and expertise today. Any last parting words that a small business owner should be thinking about as it comes to leveraging the power of video?
Yeah, I would say just start with your first one. Whatever your budget may be on the spectrum, I'm sure you could find a little bit of money to create that first video, find a way to do it. And if you need any advice or tips on even if you have a budget of $100, you have a budget of, $30,000, just feel free to, reach out to me, and I'll, if we can't help you directly, I can kind of point you in the right direction of, what might be helpful for you as someone who's creating a video, because it can be complicated. There's a lot to it, and once you get into it, it can be tough. And I love to see people just getting started on it, because it really does help your business at the end of the day.
I think it's a great investment, because I think it's one of the ways to level the playing field with the big guys. Because if you hire a professional company, such as yours, to produce a professional video, then they can, a company like yours can still knows how to storyboard and tell the story of the small business owner, but being that it's professionally produced, it puts it on par with those big guys.
Exactly. And you're competing with the big guys. That's kind of how it works.
Yeah. Well, David, how can people get in touch with you? I know that my audience is going to want to reach out to you and learn more about how they can use video in their marketing.
Sure. So I'll give you guys 3 ways. So we have our website, viralideamarketing.com. So feel free to reach out to us on there. If you're interested in a project, if you're interested in, just some stuff about that company. If you're looking for editing stuff, someone at Flixation can help you. So that's flixation.co. Mm-hmm. Just reach out to us there. We have live chat on both our websites that are monitored all the time. So if you reach out to us on there, we'll get back to you. Or if you just have a question for me or want me to help you through something, my email is dave@viralideamarketing.com, or I'm on LinkedIn or any of the social media. So feel free to reach out to me there, and I'll try my best to help you through anything.
All right, guys, there you have it. Video is the way to go. Remember, words tell, pictures sell, but video brings it all to life. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is Small Business Stacey, your small biz marketing specialist, here to help you get your marketing into action and help you become a small biz marketing whiz. Bye-bye.
This podcast was brought to you by Small Business Stacey, the small biz marketing specialist. Want to know the 6 simple steps that will double, even triple your business in the next 30 days? Go to smallbizmarketingspecialist.com/transform and finally achieve the successful and profitable business you always knew you'd have. That's smallbizmarketingspecialist.com/transform.